Hello everyone, I am Walt. Here we are with another Rich Dad Poor Dad lesson. Here we are with our second lesson, and man, these principles are fantastic. I love covering this kind of stuff, and yeah, we're gonna dive right into it. So this one is the principle called Why Teach Financial Literacy in our second chapter, and this is our second lesson, so why teach financial literacy? And one of the big ones here we have in this chapter is the difference between an asset and a liability. First off, here's why you want to teach financial literacy and why you want to know about money, okay? Here are a few things in modern society you need to know about. Being happy and having money. What else do you need to know, okay? Because if you know how to be happy, no matter what your circumstance is, that's great. You're going to live a really happy kind of life, okay? And you're going to know what your purpose is. You're going to have all the kind of stuff that comes with the positive mental attitude. So knowing how to be happy, very important. Knowing how to have money, also very important, because you're going to need money to trade for all the things you want. If you have enough money, millions and millions of dollars, for example, there's like nothing you can't do. Okay, with the right attitude and a certain amount of money, there's nothing you can't do. Because you can trade money for a house, for the time off you want, for great vacations, for all kinds of things. You can trade it for working, for charities, foundations, getting into higher positions to make a difference. There are all kinds of good that money can do, okay? A lot of people think that money is the root of all evil, but actually the statement is the love of money is the root of all evil. And a better statement, of course, is the lack of money is the root of all evil, because often the people who do a lot of harm and cause a lot of crime tend to be those who don't have enough money, okay? Now, you can also go to the fact that maybe money is not the major factor in all the problems of the world. Maybe it's the negative mental attitude, people thinking they need to have greed or fear, they're afraid of these people, so they want to stop them from coming to their country, or, entertain these people, or this religious group is a problem, whatever. All that stuff really comes from fear. So getting rid of fear is a main priority of my work in life. I want to be able to give humanity basically a world without fear. Now, I got my own ideas about that. A lot of this material will teach you how to do that kind of stuff, getting rid of guilt and then perfectionism and finally fear. But in the meantime, let's go back to the fact we're talking about financial literacy here and not the deep parts of thought of my philosophy. So, what is this about with financial literacy? Okay, that's why you want to teach financial literacy. People need to know about money. They need to know how to be happy. One day I plan to found a school that is exactly about that, but we'll get to that when I'm a little closer to achieving that goal. In the meantime, we're talking about financial literacy. So, we're going to cover what an asset is and what a liability is. Okay, here's how it works. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Now, this is something that gets me all the time about how people just keep adding up liabilities instead of getting assets. They're like, oh, I'm going to buy this car, but I'm going to get it with this car loan for however many years. And it's like, idiot, okay? If you can afford to buy the car without the loan, good for you. If you absolutely need the car, I understand that this is necessary, but realize that liabilities, things like mortgages, car payments, which is another kind of loan, obviously, those kind of things are liabilities. They are taking money out of your pocket. Now, he talks a little bit about this one in this chapter about when it comes to your house. Is your house an asset or a liability while you're paying the mortgage? So, seems like a liability, but the house, see, it's an asset because look at it, it's appreciating in value as the housing market rises, assuming you're not in the bubble market of, '06 and '07 there, and things like that. So some people are like, oh, it's an asset, it's a liability. Here's how you tell the difference, okay? Is the asset if it's an asset, it's going to put money in your pocket, okay? It's going to be worth something. If it's a liability, it takes money out of your pocket. Now, this can be a little bit confusing when it comes to objects that are not really changing in value or you're holding. So if you have a bunch of gold coins, for example, asset or liability. Okay, they have value, so you can trade them for more value, particularly as the price rises of gold. And then if gold falls, they have less value. But what really matters here are the payment situations, okay? Assets are going to be things that on a month-to-month, year-to-year, decade-to-decade basis are going to put money in your pocket, okay? So if you're the bank, that's loans. When you loan out money, people are paying them every month, okay? The asset is the loans for the bank. But of course, the liability for the people is also the loans they are paying to the bank for on their mortgage and their car payments and whatever else. Student loan debt, for example, is a huge one as well. So all these kind of things are liabilities, and liabilities are going to destroy your financial life if you collect too many of them. And we don't want to collect as many liabilities. So when somebody says, zero down, you can get this for the next leasing of this for this number of months, okay? To the best of your ability, go for buying what you can without ever taking on personal debt as much as possible. Now, I know you're not going to be able to do this right away in many cases. Many of you will have to have student loans, many will have to have car loans and house loans, and that's all fine, okay? We all know what it's like to go through that kind of stuff, or at least most of us do. And so the thing is, though, it's changing your attitude about it first to say, you know what, this is not really good to take on this kind of debt because it's going to be a larger balance and we're paying it all the time. It's a liability, okay? Now, once you realize you have a bunch of liabilities, you can easily realize, though, you also have assets you can create, okay? Because once you start thinking about it, you start thinking about your accounting and your balance sheet because you want to have more assets than your liabilities. You want to see, okay, what can earn me money, particularly passive income, either from investments or from investments of your time into projects that will pay you forever, kind of thing, like books or videos or your work there, marketing, all these kind of things that will pay you that way. So look to build up an asset column of passive income as much as possible, and active income if you want to do things with either using your money to make more money and doing that actively on a day-to-day basis or week to week, month to month, whatever kind of thing there. And of course, active income, because many people will still want to have jobs. Even if they were rich, they still want to do this kind of work and to achieve things and make the world better. So yeah, I get that. But you want to promote your assets and to diminish your liabilities as much as possible. Don't start with your balance sheet right away. Just think about it, okay? Think, I want stuff putting money in my pocket consistently, not taking it out of my pocket. And the thing you want most is eventually to have your passive income bypass all your liabilities. So you want to have enough assets coming in passively to pay every liability. So then you don't have to do anything, okay? All your things are getting paid for you. And that's exactly what you want overall in the process of becoming rich, which I'll get into later. But yeah, that's our second principle of why I teach financial literacy. Now you know what an asset is. It puts money in your pocket. Now you know what a liability is. It takes money out of your pocket. That's about it for our second principle of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm Walt. I'll see you guys next time with our next video. So stay tuned. I'll see you then.